What's up from Jamaica, New York? We are staying right outside of JFK because, as I mentioned before, our flight got delayed in Brussels for 3 hours, and so we missed our connecting flight to LAX. So yesterday was a little bit of a mess, but my hope is just to make the best out of it. And also today happens to be 9/11, so it's a little eerie to be here, and they're holding all their memorial remembrance. It's 22 years since 9/11, and I've never been to New York before, so I'm hoping that I can at least, I don't know if my aunt and uncle are going to be willing to go, but I'm hoping to get like a car service into Manhattan, get a tour, see spots, and then my last stop would be the 9/11 museum and the memorial, just to pay my respects for a few minutes. I have a weird thing with a burial ground basically being a tourist attraction, so we went to quite a few memorial cemeteries for World War II and World War I in Europe, and I just didn't feel like it was right to take photography or videos in those places because of respecting the people who died and their families. I can only imagine how some of their families feel about that. But I think if you're doing it in a respectful way, I think then that is important. So I'm kind of having some torn feelings about if I should record from the 9/11 memorial, but I think it will probably be good because, you know, in that way we're honoring and remembering that horrible event. And I definitely remember where I was on 9/11, which of course we were back home in California. It was like my first couple of weeks of college, and how scary that was, and not really knowing what was happening. And I just remember the eerie silence of no air traffic over the skies for all airplanes to stop over LA is very scary. It's really strange because we're going to be flying out as well. I just think it's the right thing to do. I've never been here, and you know, I never really had a reason to be here, nor did I ever really want to come to New York. I'm like, there's too many damn people in a small tiny area all breathing together. I really don't want to take the subway because that's a whole nother mess. So I'm gonna look into that, see how much it will cost for a couple hours. I think we're about an hour's drive out from Manhattan based off of the traffic, and the traffic I see out the window right now. It is 8 o'clock. Actually, maybe it's not 8 o'clock here. I think it's actually a little bit later here. I think my computer's California time. But anyways, so we had breakfast, and I unfortunately checked my emails at work, and I saw that there was a whole bunch of issues with our computer system, and I'm the only one who can fix it. So I jumped online and fixed it, and I hope that's the end of it. But yeah, that's where I'm at. So tomorrow morning we're leaving first thing in the morning at 7 a.m. and so we're going to be getting up to leave at 3 a.m. and jumping on the shuttle because we are not missing this flight. I was at the point, I think it would have been different if we were in Europe and we were stuck in Europe. I would have been so much more fine with that because I would have been like, oh cool, we could stay a day in Brussels, we can go to Bruges, we can go anywhere, we can go and do a lot of things that we haven't seen. New York was not on the bucket list, not on the bucket list at all to come visit, let alone a 9/11. So I just figured, well, I'm here for a reason, so I might as well just make the best of it and just see what New York has to offer, and then head back to reality, which is going back. So instead of having 2 days off from work to kind of acclimate and get back on local time, I'm down to maybe 18 hours. So going back to work on Wednesday is not going to be fun, and I'm very tempted to just call out sick that day, but because I'm super tired and kind of sort of I got up at 7, so I think maybe this layover might be good because at least I'm on New York time right now, so I'm only 3 hours ahead, so maybe I'll just go to bed 3 hours earlier. I don't know. So we'll see. And I also had to cancel appointments. I had appointments scheduled for today at the chiropractor, which I need desperately. And I had to call them this morning at 5 a.m. to let them know that, hey, I'm not here yet. I thought I was going to be home by now. We were able to snag a hotel last night, and it was really expensive. We tried 2 or 3 hotels. All of them were booked for the night. And then there's the 3 of us. And so unfortunately, we had to pay a high price to be able to get a room. But it was better than waiting in a 2.5 hour line just to talk to someone at Delta Airlines. I have my own thoughts about their airline. We had such a good experience with KLM, brand new plane, really nice, really good service. And, you know, we didn't have great service, but if I remember right, Delta Airlines has a long history of ridiculous flight delays, and unfortunately we found that out yesterday. Granted, there was something wrong with the plane. They had to get a part to fix it for our safety. Completely do not want them taking off with us without having their plane in tip-top shape. But we were just, my aunt was like, why don't they just send another plane if they can't get this part? And that was my thoughts, is they should have just sent another plane, because we not only missed our connecting flight, but I think there was quite a few other people who were going to different parts of the country that also missed our flights. So anyways, and then it took us like 2 hours to get our luggage. Last night was just a mess. It was a mess. And yeah, and then trying to find our way to the shuttle and getting onto the little train at the airport, and yeah, it was a mess. I'm really looking forward to getting home, and we have no clean laundry. I was washing laundry last night in the sink, and yeah, so I mean, we could buy clothes. I ended up having to buy some underwear when I was in Europe because I ran out and there was no laundromats and nothing at the hotel. So yeah, so just one more day and then I'll be coming home, and it'll be nice. I really wasn't ready to come home from Europe, but now that I'm here in the US, I want to get out of New York just as fast as I can and just get back to my place and have some peace and quiet, and also to get my paycheck, because my paycheck's at home and I got some bills to pay. So anyways, if I go into New York, I'll get some great shots for you.
Famous St. Patrick's Cathedral in Midtown, New York. And I'm going to run across the street really quick and go take a visit. And we are trying to get a shot of the Statue of Liberty. We're at a really weird angle, so I can't quite get to it. So I'm going to see if our driver can maybe take us on to another point on the island, which would be nice. So I try to zoom in as much as I can, but next up we're going to go to the 9/11 museum. It is 9/11 today, so I thought it was only appropriate for us to go and pay our respects since this is our first time in New York, and what I've always wanted to do is to be able to come out and just pay my respects to those who died 22 years ago today.
Being at the 9/11 memorial on the 22nd anniversary of the terrorist attacks was really emotional for me. Finally, after 22 years, to be on the site where such traumatic day in our nation's history, to be there at the site where so many innocent people lost their lives was really hard. And I always knew that it would be, because I knew that I would have a very visceral reaction to being on what I consider to be a burial ground. And being surrounded by the beautiful fountains, this is just one of two, and just seeing how large the space of where these buildings used to stand, and remembering that all these people were in those buildings just living their life on a beautiful September day and hopping on an airplane all over the United States. Just seeing the thousands and thousands of names, I just ran my hand across all of the different names, as many names as I could, and I could literally feel all the deep emotion, the sadness of thousands of people who've come there over 20 years. And it was really intense and very somber for me. And I only got to spend maybe 15 to 20 minutes there before we had to leave, but it definitely was a heartbreaking moment, and I will never forget. There's so much more I could say about my visit to the 9/11 memorial, but maybe that's for another video. Okay, it is 4:56. We are at JFK. We finally got through TSA. That was a fiasco. But we're about to head to our gate, and then we're out of here at 7 o'clock to go back home finally. So, looking forward to it. A quick update. So I'm back in my home state, going into work. I just finished a presentation. Don't know why we have to have a meeting like the day I come back, when I haven't gone through my emails. But okay. And honestly, I just felt so great on vacation. Of course, everybody feels great on vacation, right? But when I got home and I got up this morning, I just felt this great sense of sadness. And I think it has to just do with being back home and getting back to life as I normally have it, which is not the greatest. And it's like, you know, I have a lot of stuff going on. I have a lot of projects that I took a break from, and I think I was just tired. I was just worn out and over it. And now I'm getting back into the busyness, and I'm not so excited about it. I really needed that refresh, and to just see different things, be around different people. I think I really needed that. And so anyways, getting back to life just doesn't sound very fun, but I have to. And so I guess my next thing is just to get back on my projects, which is the book. I thought before about starting a podcast, and I think that what this trip taught me was just I think I'm doing a little bit too much. I think my goal should just be to try to finish the book and then work on getting it published, finishing that, and then doing the best job I can on my YouTube page. And today, I normally post a YouTube video every Wednesday at noon, but because of coming back from my trip, I noticed that I was missing quite a bit of video, and I couldn't understand why. And it was because my phone didn't back up some of the photos that I had, and I deleted them. I had to go back through my Instagram stories to see if I could salvage some of the footage that I have. I haven't been able to pull it back up on my phone, so luckily I had some stuff backed up on Instagram, so I'm going to try to pull together some of the footage from that. So I'm getting back, clean eating as well. That's going to be happening. I just had lunch, and I just had sweets at lunch. Definitely tasted a difference in the quality of food instead of what I've been eating the past like 2 weeks, but that's okay. But I'm definitely going to be back on my sugarless diet. I'm going to be eating clean. I got my groceries last night, but I forgot to pick them up because I fell asleep. So I ended up falling asleep at 3 p.m. I propped my feet up on my bed, laid down on the floor, and went to bed. And then I woke up maybe 2 hours later and got into bed. And then I didn't wake up until 1 a.m. And then once I got up at 1 a.m., then I started putting away some of my clothes, figuring out, okay, like what needs to be washed. And I was going to try to do laundry today, but I still have like enough underwear and other clothes that I can wear to get me to the weekend. And then I'll go on from there. But yeah, I just feel like, I just feel this sadness. I think it has a lot of like attachment and memories to things that happened here at home, and I think I've just been sitting in it so long. And so when I come back, and I've been so busy, I haven't really been thinking about it very much. I haven't felt sad, I haven't felt lonesome or whatever. I think it's just because I've been so busy, and I've been seeing things and learning about different things, and I really need to stay on that mode. I felt so happy. There was very little that bothered me when I was away on this trip. Okay, so one of the things that I'll mention that I learned on this trip is that I feel like we're missing out on here in like the US, which is where I'm from, is the fact that we don't learn multiple languages when we're younger in school. That it's not an option. That's just what you do when you're growing up. And all the countries in Europe, that's what they do. They, like all of their children in the schools, they learn either 2 or 3 languages. One is English, French, and German. Those are the 3. And that allows them to be able to travel to the different countries which are around them, and to be able to learn and be able to communicate with people that come from all over the world, which I think is amazing. 2, I would say, like the whole sustainability and the size of our vehicles. The one thing I learned from the Netherlands is that you can still move a lot of supplies without needing a giant truck that sucks up a ton of diesel, and you can have a smaller car and still get by, you know. And then another thing I would say is just like being active and moving a lot. We definitely don't take as many steps as people in Europe, and also riding bikes. So that's something that I'm going to really be mindful of, is just to make sure that I walk whenever I can. And I don't know, right now I can't afford a bike, but I might be able to get a bike. I don't know where I'd put it and when I would bike, but where would be safe enough to bike, because definitely not on the streets here. But yeah, so staying active, and then also just learning and reading and expanding our horizons, because like there's so many other ways of life and living. And also just being really attentive to the food that we eat. That's another thing that I learned while being over there, is that they don't put so many processed foods and junk in their food, and we do. And that's why most of us in America are overweight, and a lot of it has to do with the stuff in our food that makes us bloaty and helps retain a lot of weight. So mine is just being a little bit more mindful about like the food that I'm eating, and getting as close to natural food as possible from the source. Good morning, everyone. And I don't know if you could probably see the difference in my face, but I woke up this morning, was all excited to head over and do my class today, my breathwork class. I've been without it for like 2 weeks, and my left side of my whole face is swollen up. I'm sure you can see a major difference of my face on one side, and I don't know what happened. I slept on my right side last night. Normally I sleep on my left, and I woke up and my face is messed up. So I know I have a cavity in my tooth back here that I'm actually due to go get a filling in next week. But I've never had swelling like this in my face, and it doesn't hurt. And the only reason why my face should have swollen up was I think it was Wednesday morning. I was trying to get in the car to go to work, and I smacked myself in the face, but with the door, which was stupid. But I hit like my eye and my nose, so I thought for sure that would have swollen up by now. I have no pain in my face. I have no pain in my teeth. So I don't know what's going on. And because of my kidney function right now, at least the last time we tested, it wasn't the best. I'm afraid to take any Tylenol or aspirin or ibuprofen because that can hurt your kidneys. So I did what I could. I brushed my teeth really well. I rinsed my mouth out. And of course, my water pick, that worked really well. Because I was just thinking, oh, maybe there's something stuck in my tooth and it's causing it to swell up. I can't find a charger to it, so I can't get it to work. And that usually flushes anything out. So I'm trying to think of every little thing I can do. I could probably try salt water. But what makes matters worse is that we have a stupid anniversary party at work tonight, and I have to go. And I really don't feel like being out in public and having pictures taken, which I'm going to ask everyone, please don't take photos of me at this event, because my face is so messed up. So even if I've had my hair down, I can't hide it. It's obvious. So, of course, my first thought when I looked in the mirror this morning was like, oh my God, did I have a stroke on one side? But I don't think so, because I have feeling in all over my body, and my left side of my face isn't drooping, or there's not a side of my face that's drooping. So I'm like, okay, didn't have a stroke. So I'm having either some type of infection in my tooth, or I'm having an allergic reaction. I'm not itchy. I don't think I got stung by anything last night. I keep my face really well covered when I'm out walking, and I don't feel any bumps on this side, so I don't think it's like a bug bite or anything. So the only thing I can think of is just the tooth in the back, but it doesn't hurt. And that's the thing that's stupid, is that it doesn't hurt whatsoever. So I'm going to make the best of it. I tried to, do my lymphatic drain, which I haven't been so good at it, to try to see if I can kind of drain some of the fluid out of actually both sides of my face. And that doesn't look like it's helped at all. And so I'm tempted to call my dentist and just say, hey, I have swelling in my left side of my face. I don't know if this is my tooth or not, but can you see me today? I might give her a call and just say, hey, I have a class. I'll be done afternoon, but if I can get in today, that would be fantastic. So anyways, I'm going to deal with this, and I should probably call my dentist office and just see if they can squeeze me in at some point today. But my face is just so messed up. I'm like, I just don't need this right now. I don't. Especially today. And if it was any other party, I'd probably flake out and just not come. But because it's a work party, I feel obligated that I at least need to show up for an hour. So yeah, that's my life. That's my life right now. And I have so much to do. I still haven't washed clothes for my trip, so I really don't have much clothing. And I was just gonna wear an old dress. Normally I try to find some cheap dress I can wear that's newer that no one's seen me in. Yeah, that's where I'm at this morning. Okay, so now I'm in urgent care, and I thought I can go to the health clinic. They said no. So they took some blood, and then they had me do an ultrasound on my cheek, and the tech, he's basically was like, it looks like there's something going on in your lymph nodes on that side, and so maybe it could be an infection of my tooth, but I have no tooth pain. I have no pain in my teeth at all, which is really bizarre. We're going to see what the doctors say once they read it, so I'll probably be here at least another hour waiting for them to read my results, and then give me a treatment plan, which it's either, if I have an infection, it's probably going to be antibiotics and cold compress, or they're going to just say, we couldn't find anything, put cold compress, go home. At least on that one side, there's something going on with my lymph node. So my body's fighting something on that side. We're just not sure what it is. Good news is my blood work came back fine. Blood cell count looks good. Sunday. Yes, Sunday. And I am still nursing my puffy face, even though it looks slightly better. But if you can see down here, this is all puffy still. I wasn't able to go grab my medication last night. Actually, I tried before church, but the line was too long and they were going to close. All the pharmacies are closing really early on weekends, which is annoying. So I had to wait till today. So I'm going to go by and do that. I did my grocery shopping. I am back to my Whole30 and really trying to cut out sugar, with exception to my Belgian chocolates, which are on the way. So my goal is to just try to eat as clean as I can. I'm still not eating bread. I went nuts on my vacation. I came back, I gained 4 pounds, which is better than I thought, but I have to get those 4 pounds off, and then I have a check-in at the end of the month. I think I check in actually next week for work or fitness incentive. So I'm just hoping that I'm able to get my body back down to where I was before I left. So I have, well, I technically have 3 more pounds to go. Just within eating this week, I've been able to get off like 2 pounds. And then my water intake, I've been going back up. Yesterday with the doctors, I had to do a ultrasound on my cheek right here, and they did a chest x-ray just in case. And so all they could find was that I have some type of bacterial viral infection inside of one of my lymph nodes, just on my, I had no idea we had lymph nodes on our face, no idea. So they're just putting me on antibiotics, and I cannot remember the last time I was on antibiotics. It's gotta be at least 10 years since I'm on antibiotics. And so I think I'm going to be on like a 5 or 7 day dose of that, and hopefully the inflammation will come down, and then I will be going to get my filling in my tooth. When they looked at it, they don't think it's my tooth. My doctor did an examination, and she's like, you know, what I would think that I would see back there where you think that infection would be, that's not where your issue is. So I'm just going to go with that, get my filling in either this week or next week, and then get back to schedule. So I felt really tired last night. I went to that work party that I almost didn't go because I looked like a chipmunk. My face was much worse. If I look to the side, you can really kind of see it, but I did. I went for an hour, and then I left, and then I came home and I crashed. So yeah, I actually stayed up and watched Sister Wives. I love that show. I just think it's fascinating. So anyway, I did my grocery shopping, gonna be cooking at home again and getting back into the rhythm, and just looking at paying off my debt as much as I can. I have another student loan I'm going to pay off at the end of the week, and then I actually have the money to pay it off now, but I'm just going to wait until I get paid. I'm going to pay that off, and then that means I have 8 more student loans to go. And then once I'm trying to get all of my smaller ones knocked out in the next like 2 to 3 months, and then I have my graduate loans, which are the ones that are ridiculous, that I hope to have paid off in the next 1.5 years, but we'll see. So yeah, so I'm back to slim pickings and not doing a whole lot. But I am looking into taking off like my birthday. I would like to go to Yosemite. I know the Yellowstone's out because it's basically winter. Winter starts in October. So I know that's out, but I think Yosemite I can probably do. That's more reasonable, and I don't have to spend a ton of money going up there, and either I can drive or I can get a flight. It would be cool to go as a tour group because at least I'll be with people and I can meet new people. I just kind of have to look around and see if I can get like a last minute deal, and I'm gonna have to pay it out of pocket. So anyways, that's what's happening. Checking in, it's Monday, and my face looks a little bit better on my left side. My right side is much more thin, but yeah. So if you saw my last clips, I was at urgent care and getting a bunch of x-rays and ultrasounds because they couldn't figure out why my face was swollen on my left side. And so basically I just have like a bacterial or viral infection in my lymph node on my cheek, and so that's why my face blew up. So yeah, so went back to work today, done my workout. Aunt Flo came to visit me as well. So not only am I feeling kind of crummy due to the antibiotics, but I have that. So I had a really upset stomach today after lunch, and I think it's because I used mayo from our kitchen at work, and it said that it was still good to use, but my stomach was gurgling after I ate that. So I'm better off just to have my avocado mayo that I have at home from Primal Kitchen, plug in their stuff because it's so good and so much more healthier for you. So yeah, so I'm taking my afternoon walk or evening walk. It's almost fall, which honestly is one of my favorite times of year. Just love fall. I'm ready for pumpkins and apple spiced smelling things and apple pie and apple picking and all that stuff. So, and Halloween, of course. So next up is, I was just going through some of my video from Europe and also like our New York trip, and New York was epic, I have to say. Totally unexpected, delightful city is New York, that I really enjoyed it more than I ever thought I would. But just listening to some of the clips of like the conversation between me and my aunt just cracked me. I thought it was hilarious. So yeah, and just looking at a lot of the pictures, it was just, I just kept saying in like all my video clips, I'm like, oh my god, iconic, legendary, epic, like that's New York. Everything about it is cool. And we didn't even see Times Square. That's the thing that's crazy, is that we didn't have time to go see it. That's the only thing we missed. So yeah, so getting back to reality, I'm also already planning my next vacation and saying, what do I need to do to cut out of my budget to try to afford to go to Europe next year? So I'm looking into that to see what I can do. And then I also put in for time off for my birthday. So just like a Monday and a Friday. So I'd love to go to a national park and just check out again for like a 4-day weekend and just commune with nature, because that's what I love the most. I felt crummy the whole day. Had horrible cramps all day. But I'm still getting my walk in. I did a workout. The workout was rough because I just wasn't feeling good. My stomach was upset the whole time, but I still went through with it. I'm glad I did. And then I'm going to get my walk and then finish editing. And honestly, I've had the hardest time editing this video because there's so much. I took so much footage and photos from this trip. It's unbelievable. Just from New York, I had over 100 photos and video. So I was just trying to put everything in, especially like in chronological order, because I'm like, I want people to feel like they're actually on this trip with me. But I don't know, I'm sure I didn't get it all right, but I know you guys will probably love it and just kind of see my experience of Europe through the eyes of someone who's never been there before, which is kind of fun. So anyways, but back in California, enjoying this beautiful sunset behind me, which is like the norm. Also just coming back, we went to the work party, and I always have a little bit of a hard time because number one, most of my friends are gone from work. Like that's just reality. And so it's not as fun anymore to go to parties and know that you're going to see like the people that you really like get along with. So, you're there, and then everybody has like their significant others and everything with them. So I'm usually like the single person, so I literally just went for an hour because number one, I was still nursing my, puffy face, and I really didn't want to be seen like that. And also I honestly just felt like leaving as soon as I got there because I was like, I don't really know anybody, but I ended up staying for the awards, spent like a few minutes talking to, two of my coworkers, and then I went home and watched Sister Wives and went to bed, and because I really needed to sleep. So I did do cold plunge this weekend. So glad I did it. I really am convinced that if I didn't do the cold plunge, my immune system wouldn't have been as good as it was in Europe. And also with just fighting off what's going on with my face right now, I think it could have been way worse. But there was like a huge difference from my first video, from when I woke up and I was driving, to when I went to the doctor's. Even then it looked a little bit better, and it looks quite a bit better. There's certain angles you can, like, if I put my face down, you can really tell, versus my other side, of how bloaty my face looks, and it's really just swollen. And my right side, I can like feel my bones on my face. My left side, I can't. It's just all inflamed. It'll just be a couple of days more of antibiotics twice a day, and then that's it. But yeah, I'm getting back on all my projects. My goal is just to get 4 more stories for my book, and then we're gonna hand it on over to the editor. I gotta find money to pay her, and once I do, then we'll work on getting this book done, because that's my goal. I want to have the book done by the end of the year. So anyway, I'm gonna go look at this beautiful pumpkin October-esque beautiful sunset behind me. Makes me very happy.